Having a government that is in this never-ending merry-go-round of failure and, party political disagreements amongst themselves when we've got such big challenges that we face as a country. I would like a general election as soon as possible because that's what I think the country and my constituents need.
We're going to get this speech from Sir Keir Starmer this week talking about 4 years of Conservative government since Boris Johnson won in December 2019. One of the things he's going to say is this party has fundamentally changed, not just a paint job, but a total overhaul, a different Labour Party driven by your values, by British values. Now, you made it very clear that you would have nothing to do with Jeremy Corbyn in the previous Labour team leading up to that 2019 election. Sir Keir Starmer did not. He was a lieutenant of Jeremy Corbyn. So isn't he actually starting out saying something pretty false when he says that the party has fundamentally changed and that he's fundamentally changed? He's just trying to have it both ways, isn't he?
No, look, Adam, I remember the morning after that horrific 2019 election defeat, and if I'd have thought at this stage we might be in with a shout of having a chance to serve the country, I literally would not have believed you. And we have fundamentally changed. We are proud to say that we love this country, that we will be strong on national security, that we will be careful with every penny of taxpayers' money, because it's not our money, it's taxpayers' money, that we believe in British businesses, because it's they who are the ones who create the jobs and the income our country needs. And look, let me take that issue head on, what you said. The years under Jeremy Corbyn were unbelievably difficult. And many of us fought to keep the Labour Party that we believe in and love, and we did that in different ways. Some of us did it from the back benches and some people did it from the front bench. But I think it's actually astonishing how Keir has led us into this position. I would not have believed it could be done that awful morning after the 2019 election. So we stand ready to serve, but we know that the challenges we face are unbelievably difficult. I'm not standing here in any way gleeful about the Tories ripping themselves apart over Rwanda, because having a government that is in this never-ending merry-go-round of failure and, party political disagreements amongst themselves when we've got such big challenges that we face as a country, I would like a general election as soon as possible because that's what I think the country and my constituents need.
But isn't that really the point, that the Conservative Party have got through a number of prime ministers, they're still disagreeing internally? That's why Labour is ahead in the opinion polls. It's not that you're offering anything. In fact, Sir Keir Starmer keeps on reminding people that he's not offering very much because of the state of the economy.
No, I don't. I think that's a completely wrong characterisation of what we're doing. Don't get me wrong. The Conservatives are railing against problems in this country that have happened on their watch and are often a consequence of their actions. But we are offering change, but we are being realistic that it can't happen overnight. I believe that 2 million more appointments or treatments in the NHS every year will make a huge difference. I believe a proper plan to grow the economy and back our businesses will make a big difference to my constituents' lives, but it won't happen overnight. And I get this a lot in my own patch. If I went in and promised in one of my public meetings or when I'm knocking on doors that the NHS will be, no waiting overnight, everything perfect, people just wouldn't believe me. But what they do want is to have hope for change. And I personally think that is by far the biggest challenge that we have. The Tories are going to throw everything at us. But the biggest challenge we have is that people want change, but they don't believe it can happen. And that is our challenge over the coming months.
Well, let's take the issue of small boats. What Rishi Sunak is saying, that he wants to deter the small boats, and he believes being sent to Rwanda is a way of deterring people from getting on those boats. Why is he wrong?
Firstly, because a deterrent requires something to work. And currently, this is the third bill we've had. Forgive me, Adam, but the first bill didn't work. The second bill hasn't been implemented. We're on the third round of this.
Yeah, but that's a technicality.
Secondly,
I mean, if you could get it to work.
It's not a tech. I mean, believe you me, if this was a technicality, you wouldn't have the Tories ripping themselves apart over it. But secondly, even if it did work, the court said it would remove 100 people. I mean, we've had weeks where 1,000 people have come across in small boats. But this is a serious issue for our national security, as well as the horror of people's lives being lost. So how do you tackle it? And I believe what you've really got to do is bust the criminal gangs that are driving this. And that is why we've said we want to scrap that Rwanda policy and use the money instead to set up a new elite cross-border force that really deals with those networks, those supply chains, the money, root that out if it's based in England, and really put in place a proper plan to deal with that. That can't happen overnight, but it is actually a plan that we believe will work.
But on the other hand, the people who are crossing are not the criminals. They're people who want to escape where they came from and have better economic prospects. And the criminal gangs are simply helping them. I can't see how constantly fighting the criminal gangs is actually going to stop the desire of people to come to this country. Whereas I can see, if they know they can't come here and stay, that might become, over time, a significant deterrent and disincentive.
That's one part of our plan. The second thing that we've got to do is obviously end the use of asylum hotels, which are costing £8 million a day, and how we do that is by having new specialist people to actually bring that backlog down. And fundamentally, Adam, as you know, people who are fleeing war-torn countries, we have to have a plan that deals with that root causes of the problem and enables people to have a better life where they're from. All of those things together. As I said, I don't believe it will happen overnight, but a deterrent is only a deterrent if it works, and if people think, the Tories aren't saying they're going to send everybody back, even if they could get this bill off the ground. So I just don't believe that. And what this really is, Adam, is a fight for the heart and soul of the Conservative Party. The Conservative Party, the party of Winston Churchill, who actually supported the European Convention on Human Rights. In 1951 we went into that, we helped create it. And I know there are many good Conservative voters out there who look at their party that doesn't even believe in the rule of international law anymore. I mean, that's the heart of this. In politics, Adam, one of the things that I have learnt is you don't deal with an argument by ignoring it or pandering to it. You deal with it by taking it head on. And Rishi Sunak has never had that argument. He can't keep his party together, and the country deserves better.
Now, you've talked about a better service, more appointments from the NHS. But in fact, again, you're not saying you're going to be able to deliver on that, are you? You're saying Wes Streeting, talking to Sunday Times today, talking about waste and inefficiency in the NHS, talking about how there needs to be reform, or there might not be an NHS there at all. So, again, it's basically a negative that Labour is offering, that things have gone badly wrong, rather than a positive, isn't it?
Adam, absolutely not. We have said we will end the non-dom tax status and use money from that to create 2 million more appointments or treatments in the NHS. But that is just one part of our plan to really shift the focus of healthcare towards prevention and early intervention. You will know that the big issue we face is the increasing number of long-term chronic conditions, heart disease, cancer, obesity. That means we've got to shift the focus to preventing problems from happening in the first place. And I have no doubt Wes is absolutely right. There is waste and inefficiency in the NHS. I recently had an appointment that ended up being that I've had to wait for months and months and months. It was cancelled at the last minute. I had 6 different letters, 10 different WhatsApp messages. There are things that we can do to change it, and it's people in the NHS themselves who are saying we could make this system work better, more efficiently, use technology, use data, and Wes is absolutely right to say that.
Ms. Kendall, thank you very much indeed for joining us.